Peter Solomon, who was then the vice chairman of investment banking group at Shearson Lehman Hutton American Express. His advice to me was that instead of going over to Drexel, I should join Shearson Lehman to head their merchandising group, which included apparel, retail, footwear, and other consumer groups. And so I did. Despite all of the financial gain that had come with the sale of Financo, I had not sold to Lehman for the money, nor for the prestige, or the tickets to Wimbledon, and the flights on the Concorde. Although I must say I did love those Concorde flights very much. But because a larger firm could give me more resources and bring me into the senior leagues to do the absolute biggest deals around. As previously noted, while I had orchestrated $500 million deals, the bulk of our business was still middle-market transactions, which, at the time, ranged in value from $30 million to $100 million. But I wanted the ability to play in the big leagues and do something meaningful at the highest level. The thing is, I loved deals. I loved everything about them. The game, the interactions with people, the chase, the kill. I always have, going all the way back to those earliest deals hashed out in the living room between myself, my brother, my mother, and father during my childhood in 1950s New Haven, Connecticut. But let's not talk about those days quite yet. First, let me tell you how Lehman, in just a few short years, nearly snuffed out that love and drove me to do as Steve Schwartzman had done the day I had arrived at the company. Head for the door. Now, maybe you recall that Lehman Brothers went bust in September of 2008. I don't think anyone doesn't remember. Well, all the signs of a collapse were already in place when I arrived in the mid-1980s. You had the politics of the old Lehman Brothers, and you had the bureaucracy that came from their parent company, Shearson American Express. The infighting, envy, and divisions within the company's structure made it so that you were working not as a team, but against the people in your own office. Very few of the bankers shared information. There was very little camaraderie. The bankers, for instance, were all very hesitant about sharing deals, concerned that doing so would affect their bonuses. And so they wanted to work on everything themselves and bar anyone else from receiving what should have been their business. That made for a very difficult environment. My friend Daniel Good, who had also come to Lehman from another firm, was head of merchant banking at the time, and he explains it like this. Most new top-level recruits didn't see or appreciate these conflicts as they weren't apparent from the outside, but what should have been a comfortable and effective joint effort became a war zone over fee-sharing and credit for transactions. As a result, internal tumult ensued, and top management changed several times before stability was achieved. I hadn't seen any of it from the outside, no, but now that I was on the inside at Lehman, it was all disappointingly apparent. And then something happened that really took the bloom off the rose. You see, before I had come to Lehman, back when they were courting me, I had been told by them that Macy's was their longest, most important retail client. Naturally, I had long admired Macy's and greatly looked forward to working with them. But then, a month or so after my arrival, I learned that Macy's had picked Goldman Sachs as their advisor in their bid to go private. Why? The only reason that anyone could conclude was because they believed Lehman had become a second-rate firm. Have you ever seen Hitchcock's Vertigo? All of a sudden, that was me, with the office and the Statue of Liberty with it, all starting to spin around and around and around. You wanted answers as to how this had happened, but you couldn't get any from anyone. It wasn't the kind of thing people discussed. And for the company, of course, it was treated as easy come, easy go. But no, this was Macy's, and I had joined Lehman so I could work with just these sorts of juggernauts. It was painful, disillusioning, and it had me looking around the office, seriously doubting that this was the Lehman Brothers we all knew and revered. While it took time, in just 4 years, over half of Lehman's investment banking operations